Hi everyone, so let's go 123 here, and today I am with Dr. Forever, and we are talking about the recent 10th Doctor Adventures announcement. So, yeah, pretty standard stuff really. This announcement came out, Monday it was. And basically, if you haven't heard already, and if you've been living under a rock all this time, then David Tennant and Catherine Tate are going back to do 3 Big Finish audio adventures as the 10th Doctor and Donna, pretty much. So, yeah, well, let's start off by talking about the 10th Doctor era itself, specifically Series 4, since this is where these characters come from, where these stories are probably going to be set in. So, what do you think of that sort of era?
I think Series 4 is the best series of the David Tennant time. I mean, for me, it was 2008. It was when I was first starting to properly understand Doctor Who, and it's really strong in my memory. I can remember watching all the stories on original transmission, and I really enjoyed all of them. I mean, there's a lot of classics in that season, I think. For example, Silence of the Library, Forest of the Dead, love them stories. Midnight is a creepy classic. Then you've got Turn Left, the epic finale, Stolen Earth, Journey's End. I don't think there's a bad story in that season at all, apart from the Doctor's Daughter. It's a solid season, love all of it. So I'm really happy that this Big Finish series is based around Series 4.
Yeah, same, because I think if there was sort of like a series to sort of like set these stories in, to sort of like kick off new series Doctors, then this would be the one to go with, and they have gone with that. You know, arguably you could say the War Doctor was kicking off this new series, being alone. He's sort of like in his own little bubble, I think, at least in my mind. So yeah, I'm very happy they're going with this sort of like era, that series to start off with. And of course, David Tennant and Catherine Tate are wonderful together. They have such chemistry together, and you very much get a sense of that in that video that they uploaded. Did you see that video?
Oh yeah, I saw the video. It's brilliant.
Not much talk about the audios themselves or anything, just a nice little thing of them talking about each other, and it's very funny just seeing them interact like that, and you can just tell that sort of like chemistry is going to transfer over very well into the audios themselves.
I can't wait to see how they're going to interact with each other.
Yeah, I think they are the best sort of like pairing in New Who, to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah, so let's talk about the audios themselves, and let's start off with Technophobia, the first one, and this is basically written by Matt Fitton, and he's been on a roll lately, I think, with Stage Fright, and what other ones has he written recently?
Crisscross?
Crisscross, that was quite good. But yeah, I think he's been going quite strong recently, and Technophobia is basically what it says in the title pretty much. There's sort of like it's set in the near future, I believe, and people are forgetting how to use technology. And so what do you think of the idea of this story?
I think the idea sounds very good, and the only doubts I really have about it, I mean, as much as Matt Fitton's a great writer, we know he's used to writing classic stories, he's used to being in the classic territory, so writing a New Who story, the structure's a lot different, the feel's a lot different, so the only problem that might be here is Matt Fitton like readjusting to this new style of writing. He might have difficulties with it, but hopefully Matt Fitton delivers a great story. The synopsis sounds brilliant, the symbolicist sounds excellent, so it all sounds good, everything that's on offer really. Just let's hope that Matt Fitton writes it correctly, because being used to like being a classic writer all the time, it must be very difficult to like write a completely new styled story, because New Who stories are like completely differently structured, so hopefully Matt Fitton nails it on the head, let's hope.
Yeah, I can sort of see what you're saying there, or I personally think they sort of like have a Big Finish sort of like has their own style, to be honest, and it's sort of like got some elements of classic Who in it, but they do their own 1 hour stories as well, so like in the style of New Who in a way. Because when you've got sort of like a lot of their box sets, sort of like the 8th Doctor went into the New Who territory very much in Dark Eyes in the 8th Doctor Adventures and the recent Doom Coalition, and also some other classic Doctors sort of like going into that territory with the 6th Doctor box set basically made up of 6 stories. So I sort of like hope that it writes it in that sort of style, with maybe with some New Who things going on, but I think very much like Big Finish has its own style in my mind, and I sort of like hope that Matt Fitton writes it in that style rather than either classic or new Who. But yeah, I can understand what you're saying there, kind of.
And let's hope there's none of the pathetic New Who humour in the stories as well.
Yeah, and so cast list for this one is not much really to talk about. Nikki Wardley from the Eighth Doctor Adventures is here as a character called Bex.
Oh, that's interesting.
Sorry?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And it's sort of like nice that Big Finish are still using her even though they're not using her as her original character, whose name I have forgotten. What was the character called again? Do you remember? Or...
I haven't really listened to any Eighth Doctor Adventures, so...
yeah, but basically she played a companion for a short time in the final series. And...
it can't be Lucy, can't be Charlie. Not sure. I'll have to think.
Yeah, but we've got Rachel Sterling as Jill Meadows, Chuck Sibitane, I'm probably butchering these names, as Brian, Roy Keenan as Kevin, and Jock Davis as Lucas. Don't really tell us much. I haven't really heard of any of the actors, so...
Neither bad.
Yeah.
Do we have any info on the monster?
The Cognicity is apparently the monster. That's what it says. It says they're waiting beneath the streets in the synopsis, so I assume that's the monster of the peak, although they're sort of like a new creature, I guess.
Well, I wonder why there's none of that in the cast. Maybe they're trying to hide something.
Yeah, now let's move on to the second story, Time Reaver, which is sort of like a spaceport theme. And for some reason that instantly puts me in mind in the story Spaceport here. But yeah, and basically it just looks like a smuggler's thing, and that's where that creature from the cover comes from with the tentacles, I believe.
Oh, that's the no idea how to pronounce that, but the Vasantians, they're the monsters.
Yeah, something like that, I think. So yeah, what do you think of Time Reaver? Are you looking forward to it? Are you not looking forward to it?
To be honest, it doesn't really sound that intriguing or interesting to me. Just my personal opinion, I guess.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm sort of the same on this one. To me, this is the most least interesting story of the current wave, I guess you'd call it, sort of like a first volume of releases. We've got Dan Starkey on the cast list as a character called Dawn. We've got Alex Lowe as a character called Sori. Sabrina Burklet as a character called Cora. Terry Malloy as a character called Ronnie. And John Banks as a character called Gully. So yeah, the cast list on this one looks quite good.
Terry Malloy, that's interesting.
Yeah.
A lot more excited now.
So hopefully, I'm sure he'll do a good job with whichever character he's given. And now we go to the final story, Death and the Queen, which looks to be sort of puts me in mind of Widow's Assassin a little bit, and it's also sort of like looks like it's going to be a very strong character piece for Donna. So hopefully James Goss will do a good job with that. See, it's sort of like got a wedding thing going on. It sort of reminds me of Silence in the Library, actually, and I'm worried that they're going to sort of like step on that storyline that was going on there, where she sort of got a husband in that story, and that had a very nice bittersweet ending in that. So yeah, it's sort of like doing another marriage thing here for Donna. So what do you think of that?
I think this one sounds awful, to be honest. It sounds cheesy. I don't like how it's set in this fairy tale land. It sounds really far-fetched, really... I guess it sounds creative, but it doesn't sound anything exciting at all. And as well, there's a character called Rudolph in this, and they've got the Grim Reaper in it, so it sounds far-fetched, too many ideas in it. It sounds rubbish. I think this one's going to be absolute garbage.
Ah, fair enough. Maybe it'll surprise you. Hopefully it'll surprise you, because obviously we all want good stories, but yeah, it's sort of like agree that it doesn't look the best. It looks like it's copying from a lot of other Big Finish stories as well. It looks like it's got elements of Army of Death in there with the sort of like skeleton thing, and also, as I mentioned before, the Widow's Assassin with the whole marriage thing and fairy tale land and whatnot. So yeah, I think we'll just have to wait and see on Death and the Queen, to be honest.
Definitely.
Yeah, and now let's talk about the format they're going for here, because it's sort of like they're using the New Who format by the looks of things. Well, one disc story, so it's probably going to be about an hour long. Hopefully they'll make it a little bit longer, because by the looks of things it's just going to be the story on the individual releases. I don't think they're going to have behind the scenes, because they've got the a behind the scenes disc on 10th Doctor Adventures Volume 1. So like they did with the novel adaptations, where they had the behind the scenes on a separate disc, and you can get them in the standard releases. I think probably doing the same here, which means they might have more time on the disc to fit in the story. So what do you think of that format going on there?
I like the sound of format. I mean, it's a lot better than just a 45-minute episode, because it allows a lot more build-up, it allows a lot more character development, allows a lot more focus on the storyline, and hopefully there'll be no anticlimactic endings present, because they've got a lot of time to work with. And like you say, if there's no like behind the scenes on the discs, then hopefully they can extend it to maybe an hour and 10 minutes. So it'll be pretty much like a classic 3-parter, which will allow a lot of time for build-up, and it'll be a lot more relaxed than a normal New Who story, where it's nowadays they seem a lot rushed. So hopefully none of these are rushed, and with a lot of extra time they shouldn't be rushed, so it should make a great listen. They should take advantage of this extra time.
Yeah, I agree, they definitely should. Although, you know, you've got to fit the story to the correct length. You can't sort of like try and pad it out just because you've got the extra time, but at the same time, you know, if they've got the extra time and they can use it, then they should use it rather than rushing the ending, which is what often happens in for like 45-minute episodes. You get a very rushed ending, which is very unfortunate. But yeah, now let's move on to sort of like the way it's going to be released. So you can either get the Volume 1 limited edition thing, which is limited to 5,000 actually. They usually do it at 10,000, so these might go a bit more quickly. But yeah, which format are you thinking of picking up? Are you going to pick up the £30 limited edition? Are you going to pick up the individual ones for 25, or you're not going to pick up at all?
I'll go for the limited edition. Is the limited edition going to be like The Last Adventures and the novel adaptations?
Yeah, I think so. It's sort of like going to have all the nice artwork there, has in there, hopefully. So yeah, and that's got the bonus disc. So that's 4 disc release, that one is.
So I'll definitely go for the limited edition, and I might as well. I mean, it's £5 extra, and it's more of a collector's item, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
It'll be worth a lot more money in the future.
Yeah, especially since they're limited to 5,000 this time. But
yeah,
I think so. Any final thoughts on the 10th Doctor releases? Hopes for the future. Actually, let's do hopes for the future first. Where do you think they're going to take this 10th Doctor range?
Hopefully they can do a few more box sets. Maybe bring Billy Piper back. Maybe bring Freema Agyeman back. That'd be great. And hopefully we get to see like some big like trilogies like Dark Eyes and Doom Coalition. That'd be very, very good. Yeah,
that'd be good. I hope they also bring back Wilfred Mott as well. I'm a bit disappointed that I didn't do that in the first series, to be honest. I think having him with Donna and the Doctor would have worked.
I would have loved to have seen like a story like set on like present day Earth in this box set.
Yeah. But then again, New Who does use that umbrella a lot, so I'm a bit relieved that they're not going for that in one sense, but in the other sense, you know, that's the best way to get Wilfred Mott in there. So
exactly.
Yeah, Technophobia is kind of set in that. It's set in the near future, so not much is going to be different.
Yeah, maybe 2030s. It'll be a bit different, but I don't think Wilfred Mott or any chance of Bernard Cribbins or Sylvia Noble being in it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, hopefully Volume 2 or something, and also Zygons as well. I'm surprised they haven't used any returning monsters at all, but I would have thought they would use the Zygons, to be honest, because they're very much David Tennant's favourite monster. Got to work with them in the 50th, and it would have been nice for him to have sort of like a proper story with them.
Yeah, they should have brought just any monster back from the classic series, or even like the new series would have been great to see. I don't know, the Autons or just the Krillitines, any like new Who monster would have been a lot more exciting, more of a reason to pick this box set up. But instead, we get new monsters which don't really sound that interesting, apart from the monster from Technophobia, that big, the word for the K, that big long word. So yeah, they should have really brought back some old or even new monsters, like returning monsters. Would have been a lot more inspirational to pick it up, but I guess you don't get everything.
Yeah, true. So, final thoughts, I guess? If you've got any, that sort of was a bit of a final thoughts mixed in there, but if you have anything else to say about the 10th Doctor Adventures?
Looks like a great box set, but it's not really exciting because there's nothing really of extreme interest in there. The only good thing about it that I'm really excited for is seeing David Tennant and Catherine Tate back.
Yeah, same I think really, and hopefully the stories end up being good. Technophobia looks to be very good in my opinion, so I think that's all we've really got to say about the 10th Doctor Adventures. Now, quick talk about the War Doctor now, because that sort of like was announced 2 weeks ago, was it? 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, I think it was end of September, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I think that was sort of like the time when everyone was expecting the 10th Doctor Adventures announcement to come, and that's why I came very out of the blue. And I think because there were loads of rumours about this beforehand, it did sort of like detract from the 10th Doctor announcement when it finally came. It wasn't sort of like a big surprise, like, oh my god, they're doing this. It was more like a, finally you've announced it, which is unfortunate, but yeah. But with the War Doctor one, we didn't have that. It wasn't really rumoured at all. It came as a big surprise to all of us. And let's just see, what are your thoughts on the War Doctor, quickly?
Sounds absolutely fantastic. I mean, John Hurt did a wonderful job in Day of the Doctor. It'll be great to see him back, and it's just going to be great to see how this Time War, like the very start of the Time War to the end of the Time War. It's just, the Time War's been always like a big legend in Doctor Who, which remains unanswered. And finally, thanks to brilliant Big Finish, we're gonna see what it was all like. And it's entirely written by Nicholas Briggs, so it should be fantastic.
Yeah, it's sort of a bit like Dark Light in that sense, because that was the Doctor and the Daleks in a very dark story, and it was all by Nicholas Briggs, directed by him as well. And now they're sort of like going down that same route here with only the Monstrous.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic.
So hopefully that'll be a good one. We don't have individual story details for that yet, which is odd because the 10th Doctor Adventures is coming out in May next year, and we got individual story details for that. But for this one, we only have titles. Yet it's coming out December this year. So
yep, the titles sound brilliant. I love the heart of the battle. That sounds great.
Yeah. What's the third one? Is that the Thousand Worlds or something like that?
First one's The Innocents, second one's The Thousand Worlds, and the last one's The Heart of the Battle.
Yeah, The Thousand Worlds sounds like a good title as well, and The Innocents, yeah, they're all good titles to be honest. And
Absolutely.
I'm looking forward to where they take the War Doctor in this sort of like saga. So yeah, I think that's all we've really got to say about the 10th Doctor Adventures, and a little bit extra about the War Doctor, only the Monstrous there. So anything else you'd like to say before we finish up this video?
Not really, just thank you very much for watching, I guess.
Yeah, as Dr. Forever says, thank you very much for watching everyone, and we will both see you in another video, I guess. If you haven't already subscribed to Dr. Forever's channel, then please do so. He makes very, very entertaining reviews, along with quite a few other style of videos as well. And
you should subscribe to TARDIS Guy as well, he's fantastic. Very, very good.
You're too kind. That's it. Thank you for being here with me for this video, and thank everyone for watching.
Bye.
Yep, bye everyone.